Wild at Heart was written by a guy named John Eldridge. He was out in Colorado Springs, and Wild at Heart was first published about 10 years ago. And they do these spiritual boot camps out there in Colorado, and this is the first one of its kind here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and there's really these regional boot camps happening all over the country. But these boot camps are designed to help a man get his heart back, to show him his place in the battle, and to begin to teach him how to live, really live newly, and to walk with God, and as his father, as his true father, to get healing from wounds and to find his calling in life, and to be able to see that there's more to life than they usually find themselves living in.
Finding a way to affirm men, and particularly as Christian men. It's providing a sense of what it means to be masculine and a Christian disciple at the same time. And I think what's really cool about that is that some of our guys have grown up as though there's a non sequitur between being a Christian and being fully male. And so Wild at Heart's a time to celebrate masculine themes and activities and behaviors in ways that are consistent with being a Christian disciple.
When you get a band of men together that have the same thought and direction and are on the same walk, it's reassuring. You know, you always don't know. Some of your friends may not believe in God, and you try to work on them as best you can. But when you get together with a band of men that are Christian and praying for the same thing, I think God is present.
We have to get oriented to the larger story that we live in, and that within that story, and the story that God created for us to live in as men, is He had a certain idea for men when He created them. And it's about restoring those desires. It's about remembering those desires from our youth, because the world has stolen those, the enemy of our souls has deadened us, and so we've lost something, and Jesus came to seek and save that. So we talk about adventure, we talk about rescuing our beauties, we talk about the spiritual battle, and we talk about forming bands of brothers. But basically, we are here to teach men to walk in an adventure with God.
Well, I think you're going to come and you're going to experience and feel things that you normally can't, or don't have the capacity to connect with by yourself. Secondly, you're going to be in great fellowship with a great bunch of men. Thirdly, you're going to do things that might be out of your comfort zone, and that's okay. Actually, that's recommended. Never thought I'd go on a 35-foot zip line. It appealed to me, and actually, as I was climbing up, I said, what am I getting into?
You have to overcome some of your fears, and you have to rely on safety harnesses and other people, and it's kind of like God, and God's a lot stronger safety harness than any cable or belay rope. So
there's a transition between stepping on 2 ropes and stepping on a single rope, and your feet don't want to move.
It's given me strength to know that there are times when I can let go and trust and have faith, and I know that God will be there to catch me if I fall.
I had fun working with guys who had never touched a firearm, either a shotgun or a handgun, and it was fun to help them figure out they didn't have to be afraid of those tools, and to have some success in breaking some clay birds or putting some shots on a paper plate. It's fun to help guys succeed.
Most men find themselves, their image of Jesus as a man is basically like Mr. Rogers with a beard, and that is not something that men aspire to. Yes, Jesus was immensely kind, but when it came to the fierceness of Jesus and the boldness that He had, we missed that in most of our churches. I certainly did growing up, and to reclaim some of that, to reclaim that warrior nature of who Christ was, to fight for good, and to have a bigger idea of the story that God's calling them up into, it just has to be bigger than what most men find on Sunday mornings.
In my personal life, there were things that I was missing. I guess that I didn't really know about the image of what God created us in. And it was the teaching, and then the application, being able to go out and do the activities. And it was like a face-to-face adventure with God. It's given me more perspective of what God, of my relationship with Him, of what He wanted me to be.
There are other men who share my life story that I didn't even know about. And it's allowed me to trust and have faith in other men that I never had before.
Wow, God really wants me to be this way, and it's okay to be this way, and it's okay to feel the things that I feel. But then to use it for God, that's where the journey begins for me, to learn that part. So the food is unbelievable. Ridiculous.
I hope to walk away with an understanding that it's okay to bring a kind of woundedness to a gathering of a group of guys, and to be able to own that and to experience healing in the process. I've come to believe that we don't become whole until we learn to be real with each other as men. And Heart of the Warrior is one opportunity to be real with a group of other men.